Hello, it's Kelvin here, and Crease.
Hello, everyone.
Crease and Kelvin. So, how does this show work, you may be wondering? Well, let me explain. Crease has compiled a list of topics, of news stories, of things that he thinks will hold my interest, and as soon as I grow bored with those subjects, I shake my little bell, like that, and we move on to the next subject. It's very simple. He goes down to the next one on his list and sees if that one's any more successful. So, topic number one, Chris. Topic number one
Is national news. I will require a sting. This is very sad news, actually. I don't know if you have some sad news to play in the background.
I don't have a
play Schindler's List in the background. In sad news, Kelvin, the world's oldest cat, Poppy, who was 24, from Bournemouth, is dead. Yes, very sad news.
Very sad news.
She was obviously the world's oldest cat. 24 years old. Don't live that long normally. 24? That's ancient for cats.
Ancient? Is it ancient for cats?
If it's ancient, it's certainly good. It's an oldest.
So hang on, give me the span of cats' ages again. Give me them again.
15 probably is a good age for a cat to get to.
A good age for a cat to get to.
Healthy 15,
age.
A good age.
And she reached
24.
24?
24 did young Poppy.
How well was that cat treated for it to get to that age, though? That's my question. You see, my first thought with this is that any cat which gets to 24 years old, their owner has dressed them up in a little bonnet and booties and puts it in a little cat diaper. That's the kind of owner we're dealing with. For them to have cared so thoroughly for that cat, it has to have been. I mean, we are looking at probably a cat that was begging to die.
It was probably kept in bubble wrap.
It was
so
probably,
it probably was finding sharp-edged tables and just banging its head against the sharp-edged tables.
It was doing anything to take itself out, because it was basically that's an owner that has a cat that lives to 24 years old is the kind of owner that spoils the cat, that treats it like a baby, makes it like a sailor one day, another day it dresses up as a baby in a bonnet and booties, another day it dresses it up as a bee. You know, all of these kind of things. This is what the owner, the sick fuck that owned that 24-year-old, that cat that was begging for death. I honestly think that's the kind of life that thing was leading those last 10 years.
You reckon?
Those last 10 years, it was thinking, please let this be the last year of my wretched, miserable, toothless life. Let this be the end.
Feeling like it poured at like the cutlery drawer for hours.
Yes.
And then eventually it got it open, and there was just a collection of plastic spoons in there.
Plastic spoons, and even it was slashing on its wrists in a desperate attempt to cut its little paws open and die with some dignity. Whereas I actually suspect that at its 24th birthday, it finally gave up the ghost, dressed as a little Yoda. Oh, no dignity for that cat. No dignity for that. It would have been willing itself to die, I reckon.
Sad times.
Sad times. She kept coming in. The owner kept coming in and finding it. Like, don't come away from that oven. Take your head out of that oven. Come on, get out of there. And it was desperately trying to reach its little paws up, just try and knock on the power so it could finally gas itself, put itself out of its misery. She kept finding it in its car with the motor turning over.
It just
get out of there. What are you doing in there?
It just lied very flat near the inwards opening door.
Yes.
Willing that door to... Someone, the owner just come in, just carelessly, just push the door open really hard,
yes.
Snap, everything and go, but no.
It was always calling dogs names. Every time it saw a dog, it'd say, "You fucking arsehole, come on."
When it would take a mouthful of water, when it was drinking, take a mouthful of water, and it would just desperately cover its nostrils with its paws.
And lie on its back. Anyway, right, so was that...
no, that wasn't the point. I had a question.
Right.
Which is that it got me thinking about getting old and dying, and then it got me thinking about you getting old and dying, Kel.
As it would remind you of that.
And that made me feel happy.
Right.
But my question to you, I suppose, is which one of us is going to die first?
That's your opening question for the show?
That's my opening question for the show, is which one of us do you think will die first? Yeah.
Jesus, that's a cheery thought.
Isn't it?
I'm going to die first. That's my first... Because... Well, no, actually, I don't know.
I'm not convinced.
I'll tell you why I think I'll die first.
Go on.
Because I'm a single man.
Yes.
Single men die earlier than married men. That's I think one of the statistics.
As in,
that's one of those
as it is
statistics.
suicide skewing?
No, I don't think so. No, I think
not,
it's just that you have worse health because you look after yourself less well, and you don't.
Well, that's not true of you.
No, yeah, exactly. Me with my beans spooned out of a tin, which is a regular meal I have, and
Such a monster.
yeah, fish fingers dipped in Philadelphia is another
Is
one.
that genuinely something
Yeah,
you have?
I've told you that before. You know, we talked about it on
Fish
the
fingers.
show before.
I knew you had them in mayonnaise. I didn't know you dipped them in Philadelphia. That's horrible.
Philadelphia. Fish fingers in Philadelphia. Yeah. But so that's obviously all counts against me.
Having said that, you're quite sedentary, which will then put you at greater risk of heart attacks and various other problems associated with the sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
You are also less likely to be killed out on the street.
Yeah.
But I go out for walks a lot. And if a rogue bear or something had escaped from a zoo, that could have mauled me to death. There's lots of ways I could die outside.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. So, that's a good point. You're more likely to be killed by wild animals than I am.
Yes, I'm more likely to be killed outside as well than you are.
Well, that's what I mean. You're outside, so you're more likely to be killed by cars and wild animals. You're more likely to be stabbed or mugged.
Washed down a river.
You're more likely to be washed down a river. You're more likely to be gored by a stag.
That's true.
Any of these kind of things are more likely to happen to a person who is out and about in the world more. I'm inside all the time. I'm more likely to be killed in a house fire. I'm more likely to be killed from a gas leak.
Food poisoning.
Food poisoning. Definitely food poisoning. All these things are more likely to happen to
fox.
me. But I'm less likely to receive help if I die.
That's true.
If I die, no one would know I was dead.
No, that's true.
No one would know I was dead. And I sometimes think about it. Sometimes I think that if ever something was to happen to me, like I had a heart attack, I need some sort of a button or something that... I don't mean like one that they have in an old people's home, where if there's an emergency, they press it. I need something where, like, if I don't press this button every, say, 4 hours, it sets off an alarm in your house, and you have to rush over here before total brain death. Total brain death occurs. So, final conclusion: who dies first? Who was your decision? You never even told me.
I don't know, because I think I'm more likely to die doing something stupid than you. Far more likely to die doing something stupid.
That's the problem with being inherently stupid, though, isn't it?
That is. That's the risk.
That's the risk you take.
Yeah.
That's the risk you take.
Having my genes.
Yes. I'm more likely to die with a knife in me, and you're more likely to die in prison. Yeah. That's another possibility. I think I'm more likely to be killed by somebody else. Yeah.
When I die, hopefully it'll be old and covered in my own piss. You're more likely to die young, covered in somebody else's piss.
Oh God, that's so true. Eye opener. Next topic.
Right. Well, covered now. It's time for a special topic. It's time for Crease's thought-provoking thought of the week. Should you be eating meat?
Well, is that genuinely your question?
Yes, that's my question.
That's the most thought-provoking thing you could think.
Well, think about it.
This is your... I see. So you're provoking...
I'm provoking...
You're provoking thoughts.
There you are.
Right, okay.
Should you be eating meat?
I mean, that's one of those...
In this day and age?
In this day and age, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, actually, I'll tell you my honest answer to that. I do eat meat, but I recognise that it's hypocritical because I can recognise that it's a bit mean. It's a bit mean, isn't it?
Bit mean?
Pushing cows into threshing machines.
Haven't we moved beyond eating meat?
Sluice gates. Shotguns. They use shotguns to kill animals. No.
It's got lead shot in it.
How do they kill animals? I haven't really ever looked into it. I don't really want to know.
The majority of them, apart from certain religious practices, the majority of British meat is stunned, usually with electricity.
Right.
Or bolt gunned.
Bolt gun to the head. Any vegetarians listening to this will be going, you should know this!
Yeah.
Why don't I know this?
Yeah. The majority of them are...
This is why they all eat meat, because they don't know!
They basically just stun them with electricity, and they strap them up by their legs, and slit the throat, and let them bleed onto the floor.
Don't they bolt gun through the head or something?
Certain things do.
Oh, that's a bit mean, isn't it, really?
Should you be eating meat, Kelvin?
Well, the answer to the question is probably not. But the honest answer is I'm going to keep eating meat because I'm a hypocrite. Because I love meat and all of my eating pleasures, all of the pleasures I derive from eating are almost all of them are derived from meat.
Okay.
Variations on meat.
Okay.
So I mean, I should give it up. I should say, you know what? I know it is cruel for a living thing to hurt or kill another thing for my pleasure, but I'm the one who has access to a bolt gun. And if they had a bolt gun, they would do the same thing to me.
Yes.
So let's not pretend that they're better than me.
No.
Let's not pretend that they're
We've already
better.
established that in single combat, they would best you.
Exactly. Given half a chance, most animals would eat me. So I'm not going to let them take the high road on this. You know, they think that all this. You know, let's not make out that they're saints. Let's not make out that they're angels. They're not.
Okay. Here's a question.
They would do to me what I do to them if I didn't do to them what I do to them.
You think it's already plotting?
I think
I'm
not.
You're taking a preemptive strike against
Mine's
them.
a preemptive strike. Mine's a preemptive strike against them to stop them doing to me what I want to do to them.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, some animals. I mean, like a chicken, for example. I eat a chicken. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be able to eat me in one mouthful.
No.
Or even in
several packs.
100,000 mouthfuls.
It'd take your eyes out.
It could do severe damage to my toes.
If you were unconscious and you left a chicken in this room, you would have no eyes.
No.
You'd put your tongue out so you couldn't scream, and you'd be there writhing on the floor, eyeless sockets,
twisted in
staring
agony.
at
Gone for
They're
me.
horrible.
So this is my point. So no, I'm a hypocrite.
Okay.
I am a hypocrite, and I recognise that. I want this to be on the record. I am not somebody who tries to justify the fact. Like I don't try and justify. Well, I suppose I do because I like the food, but that should in theory be a terrible reason to do it.
Yes.
But I'm honest about it. I suppose that's my point. I'm honest about it. At least
You're
I'm
like
saying,
a polite serial
At
killer.
least I am. I'm a polite serial killer. I'm a guy who holds up his hand and say, "Look, I'm not saying I should kill these people.
Yeah.
But the fact is." I like killing prostitutes.
And as you were stabbing them, you'd be, I'm terribly
I'm
sorry about this.
Sorry about it.
Terribly
I'm so
sorry. Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's right, but
You're acknowledging
that's
that
my
you-
position. I'm acknowledging that what I'm doing is wrong. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, shouldn't you
which
try
makes
and
me better
stop
than a
things-
hypocrite. Which makes me better than a person who says, "I think that it's perfectly reasonable. Animals are stupid creatures, and so I can do whatever the bloody hell I like to them." I'm not saying that. You
noticed
notice
they're
that
a Tory.
No. I did a dismissive voice for them because I want them to seem worse than me. If I use my normal voice for them, they would seem on a par with me.
Yes.
That's how I justify it to myself. I say, you know what? I'm eating meat. I'm doing a terrible thing, but I know it's a terrible thing.
You know it's a
and I
terrible
do
thing.
it because it's one of the few pleasures I get in life.
In many
is
ways, you're a
meat.
realist.
Don't judge me.
So here's a question. The British government tomorrow says, that's it. You have to slaughter your own animals. Tesco's will bring round, on their delivery vans, they will bring round live pigs, live chickens.
Okay.
Provide you with the tools.
It's an interesting question.
To do it.
Okay, that's an interesting question.
And
they give me what are the
say
tools? What do they provide me with to
knife,
kill what do they give me to kill a cow?
a knife, a claw hammer,
Right.
a distracting video to play them while they're
Right.
while you're doing something.
Okay, yeah. Of an attractive cow's bottom. Okay.
They bring you around a video of two cows mounting one another.
Right. Okay.
And then you have to play that to them.
Right.
Very loud.
And then I have
music.
to use the opportunity to kill them.
You have to kill it and butcher it yourself.
And chop off the meat.
Would you?
Right.
But they put actually that's difficult. You could go, well, no, because I get blood everywhere. So I'm gonna.
No, well, I know what you mean. It's a fair. No,
yeah.
I'm not. Let's not dwell on the
No,
details.
yeah.
It's a
It's a slaughter van.
question.
It's a slaughter van. You bring it round. You have to kill. You go in and say, I'll have 2 pigs today, please. They're
Right.
£5. You have to
I climb into the
dispatch
back of
them.
a van.
And you have to dispatch them there and then.
I have to climb into the back of a van and
dispatch them.
and slaughter it.
And slaughter it.
It's an interesting. It's a genuinely good
It
question.
is,
That is a genuinely intriguing question. Would I be able to do it? That's a fascinating question. That I like that question a lot. Oh God.
Bear in mind, you will appear a monster.
I can honestly tell you. I can tell you the answer. I think if it was a chicken or something like that,
Yeah.
I could do it from a distance. I
From a
couldn't.
distance?
I can tell you. I
What,
couldn't
like
break-
throw
I
the
could-
knife at
I
it?
couldn't break anything's neck. I would not want to. So I could kill a chicken at a distance. I could do a
How do you
bolt.
mean at a
Well, you know, a
distance?
bolt gun or something like that, or some sort
Bolt
of a
guns fire about
you
2
know,
inches.
A taser or something
You
at a distance.
taser chicken.
I taser
Like the
chicken
police
to death.
tasers.
I would-
You would
yeah.
stop at a distance
I'd do
and
something.
fire a police taser into a chicken.
Pepper spray and then a firm kick to the throat. Something. I would do something so that I could get the chicken done at a distance. I didn't have to get my hands on it.
Right.
Anything bigger than a chicken, a cow, No, I don't think I could kill a cow. In fact, no, I can tell you absolutely categorically no. I would become a vegetarian if I had to kill my own animals.
Really?
That's my honest answer.
Any animal. What if you didn't have to do the slaughter, but you did have to cause the slaughter? So the big van comes down your road, you get in, and you have to lead it into a special room where a door shuts down on it, and then like a horror movie, a TV monitor comes on of the live feed inside it, and there's like a little arm with like a knife on it, and you have to press a red button, and it goes like that, and just stabs into it.
Just goes in, kills the thing. So what are you asking? Could I do that?
You have to press the button, but you have to watch the monitor.
So I don't have to physically do the killing,
don't have to actually
but I have
scram
to
it
press
into
the
it.
button that activates the device, and I have to watch it being killed.
Yes.
What sort of a government has implemented this? It's truly a nightmarish, sadistic government, if ever there was one. Okay, it's a good question. Would I do it?
Could you?
I'd certainly rather do that than have to kill it myself.
Sure.
What is the device? How does it actually kill them?
It puts a knife into their brain and then
straight
twists.
into it. It is a quick death. It's not
Yeah,
like
but it squeals.
it's not like tons of blades come out and then lacerate its body and a spear goes into its rectum
but that's really good. Wait,
and then rotates round. Then a boot comes out and kicks it up the arse 3 times.
Yeah.
If that's what happens when I press that button, then no, the answer is no.
No.
But if I press it and it just
Very
fires
quickly.
a cannonball into its head,
Yeah.
then yes, that's absolutely
cool.
fine by me.
Awesome. Okay, one last quick question.
Okay. That's not
You
true.
have to
I just
grow-
want to say that isn't true.
You have to
I
grow
wouldn't
your own
kill it.
vegetables.
Right,
yeah.
Right,
Right, you have to grow your own
Okay,
vegetables, but when you cut them,
Yeah.
they scream. You alright with that?
That's a good question as well. You're full of good questions tonight. If I had vegetables that screamed,
So like, you got to stick a
but do
stick
they
of
feel
broccoli.
pain, or is it just like a gas escape?
No, they
Is it
can
them
hear.
going,
No, they can feel pain.
They can feel pain.
They can feel pain.
Well, then it's the same as an animal, so it's a bit of a moot question. You're basically asking me if I have a green,
But it's a fucking
if I had
broccoli,
a green
Kelvin.
animal, would I
It's
kill
a broccoli.
Yeah, but if it suffered
You can
pain,
feel
if it
pain,
experienced
but
pain,
it's not,
some animal
it's not like
can.
it's not like a sentient thing. You can just feel pain and screams. And the only way
No,
to
I
stop it
wouldn't.
is by
Well,
dropping it.
only again, it's
Wait.
exactly the same as before. Only if I could shoot broccoli through the head with a bolt gun. But if I killed it if I had to boil it to death, no, I wouldn't, because that would be horrible. If I could only kill the
What if it
broccoli
wasn't? What if
by
it didn't scream?
slicing it into
What if
thousand
it
pieces,
didn't
no, I
scream?
wouldn't
What
do
if it
it.
didn't scream, but somebody told you that they could feel pain?
I couldn't do that. No.
Really?
Well, like I
potato-
said,
digging a potato up out of the ground.
Only if it was a quick, instant death. If I could,
I mean,
kill
if you
a,
chopped-
if I
if you
could kill a
chopped it-
potato, if I could kill a, well, I mean, only if it was a quick death. If I could kill a potato by just skewering it once, boom, through, and it's
Yeah.
done, it's out. That's fine. I can manage that. But if only way I can kill a potato is to put it in a microwave and cook it alive for 2 or 3 minutes
While its skin crisps
until
up.
its skin crisps up and it screams. No, of course I wouldn't do that. I'm not a psychopath. Next topic.
Okay. Yes, I'll probably do science news next. We don't have a sting for science news, do we?
No, I always think we need to find one though because we do it so often.
Okay, well I'll do science news. We'll leave a blank space,
Right.
and you can fill it in later.
I won't, but fine. Let's work on that principle.
Okay.
And then when they eventually listen to the podcast, they'll go, "He's never done it, has he?" Because there'll be a bloody great gap there. But
No.
yeah, let's do it.
Next one, science news. So anyway, could you bring up the news story, please?
Yeah, of course I could. What is it?
It's that bottom one from Popular Science magazine.
Oh right, yes, okay, fine.
And basically, I've been reading up a bit about lost civilizations. I like lost civilizations. I find the whole thing fascinating.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Chris?
And I've been reading about Atlantis. You're familiar with Atlantis, of course, the mythical.
No, I've
fable.
never heard of it, Crease.
Have you not?
No, I've never heard
Well,
of
let
it.
me explain, Kelvin. Atlantis was a civilization that mysteriously sunk into the sea.
Did it mysteriously sink into
Mysteriously
the
sunk
sea?
into the sea.
Right, okay.
It was a lost civilization of the ancient world.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, it wasn't, was it?
Well, it was, yeah.
Right, okay, so you believe that there was an Atlantis, just to be clear.
I believe that there was a thing that we've referred to as Atlantis that was a lost civilization that disappeared into the sea.
Really? They disappeared into the sea? You actually believe
Well,
that?
through it, no. So basically, they think a
So
tsunami.
your story is a lie? Your story is
No,
basically...
they think a tsunami, a giant wave, washed over this city-state and tore it back into the sea and has covered it over. And it's even covered it over with like a layer of silt. I think they found the buildings underneath.
Why? I mean, it's not Atlantis, is it, though? I mean, that's what's so stupid about it. It's not Atlantis. It's just there may have been a settlement there, right? A settlement or a city or whatever that was destroyed by a tsunami. I'm not questioning that.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've gone, rather than actually look into the facts of this and what the actual city was and what culture it was part of, let's just say it was Atlantis, because that will get us so much more attention.
No, but it could have, but no.
It's not Atlantis.
No, Atlantis isn't. But it's like King Arthur. There's no King Arthur, but it must have been based on somebody.
No, I mean, you're right, there is no King Arthur. So when people say, oh, we think we found the remains of King Arthur, I say, no, that's bullshit as well. It's just scientists lying.
Anyway, I was thinking, they potentially discovered this Atlantis.
No, well, okay, fine. Just for the sake of this show, I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
Rather than call you a lying scientist bastard.
Okay. But we've got my thinking, what do you think the culture was of this Atlantis?
This fictional place.
This
ludicrous place I don't believe in.
It's not a ludicrous place.
Because that's
a
you
real
might as well
place.
ask me. You might as well ask what is going to be what is the culture of Mars?
No,
well,
because Atlantis has some sort of. It was a real place. It might not be called Atlantis.
It fucking wasn't.
No, but it's got a basis, a story. It's making me slap my board up and down.
Right. Okay. Right, is that it?
Anyway, my answer
is
what do you think the culture of Atlantis would be?
The hypothetical
culture
fictional
of this
nation of Atlantis.
found place
of
now.
This found place. Okay, I'm going to answer that question because that's a bit more sensible. That's a less stupid question. So your question is, what do I believe with the culture of the place? No, not Atlantis.
No.
Of the place that has been sunk. Oh, it was not sunk, because it wasn't sunk by... The gods didn't sink it. The gods didn't sink Atlantis under the sea. It wasn't like the gods looked down on a culture that was...
Like Sodom...
buzzing. Can you hear that?
No.
It's all right.
Like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, but that's another example of a fictional city that was destroyed by
they
gods.
were real
Yes, that's
people.
a good example.
They were real places.
Exactly. Well, thanks. I think you've illustrated my point. What do I think the culture of Atlantis was? You see, they often talk about Atlantis being like a really advanced culture, don't they? What does that mean, though? Do people think they were driving around in cars? I mean, what do they mean by these?
Water-powered cars, I guess.
But there wasn't... Why would it be water-powered? They didn't sink into the sea. If they sunk into the sea when they were already a water-based culture, it would pose no threat to them. If anything, it was a blessing sent from heaven.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they were very righteous, good people.
and the
gods rewarded them.
Rewarded with sinking into the sea.
So I'm just saying, yeah. So I think that they...
See, now I think it's never. I think that they were a particularly bad culture, but it's much worse than any of the other surrounding cultures. No other culture was worse. So they must have been doing some real bad stuff. People were saying, there's too much sodomy in Sodom and Gomorrah. They've named the city after it, for God's sake.
Is that true? Did they name Sodom after sodomy, or is sodomy named after Sodom?
Maybe Atlantis.
They can't have named it bumming. You wouldn't call. You wouldn't call a town bumming.
No, you wouldn't. No,
like bumming Indiana or something like that.
Might. I don't know. If there was a tremendous amount of it taking place there, you might name a place that. It may not start out called that, but you might start to just refer to it casually as bumming Indiana.
That's true.
Because there was so much bumming taking place. I mean, it's possible. But I'm just thinking about, maybe Atlantis was a word for, a terrible sex act. And that's so depraved that it only took place in Atlantis. And when they sunk into the sea, it was lost and forgotten forever. The kind of acts there were so sick, so depraved, that they have been completely forgotten about because no one's been able to think of them since.
Even though it's extreme porn that they get on the internet,
nothing come close. No, absolutely nothing come close. Chopping people into thousands of little pieces, eating them all, and then wanking them out of your body. I don't know if that's actually a sex act that's possible to achieve.
I don't know. It's certainly one that's made me feel queasy, though, so you've done well.
So, and again, another question. Do you think the city... What is the idea that Atlantis sunk under the sea and is still a city that's operating under the sea? That is the argument.
I think it's... I don't know. I don't think that's what scientists believe, but I think that was traditionally.
Some people believe that, though. Some people. believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe in Atlantis.
Wasn't Aquaman from Atlantis?
Aquaman was the king of Atlantis.
The king of Atlantis. There you are.
He was, yes. I can't remember what his name is. His name is something really silly, like Charles or something like that.
No.
What is his name?
Cuttlefish.
That's going to annoy me. No, his name's Arthur. His name is Arthur.
Oh, he's not called Arthur.
He's called Arthur. Really, Aquaman should be running a small corner shop in Chiswick. Arthur Greendale should be his full name. And yet instead, he is the king of the underwater city of Atlantis and saviour of Earth.
There you go.
Arthur Grinsdale.
Arthur Grinsdale.
Yeah. So there we are. No, but yeah, so is there any more on that? Is that it?
Are you
Is
implying
all
that
your
Atlantis is
questions
just
about
outside
Atlantis?
Morecambe Bay, just so I understand?
Maybe.
It's in the North Sea, off Saltburn.
I've just thought, what if sinking Atlantis was an ironic punishment? What would their culture have to be like for it to have been an ironic punishment to have wanted to sink them beneath the waves?
What about if they were terrible swimmers? Terrible swimmers.
But there's that reason to punish a society. A society, the god looked down on Atlantis and said, "Look at all these people. They can't even swim." Is that really a reason to drown thousands and thousands of women and children and men? Let's not forget the men, because drowning men's pretty bloody awful.
It is.
But drowning men and women and children and cats and dogs because they hadn't bothered to learn to swim. Not one of them could swim. Is that a reason to drown an entire society? That's ludicrous. That's like saying, well, because all the societies out there who hadn't invented planes, and gods look down and say, "Oh, look at they haven't learnt to fly yet, so I'm going to throw them into the sky, and they will spend the rest of their lives flying through the air."
That'd be awesome.
So it'd be a terrible punishment.
Awesome.
That seems the gods are a real mardy bunch,
They
aren't
are.
they? They're a very unnecessarily cruel.
Maybe they used to just wee into the sea.
An entire society of people who weed in swimming pools. All of them, they just thought it was completely normal, completely natural. What does it matter? Who cares? It's weird.
It's wet anyway.
And God looks down one day and goes, "Oh, disgusting. He blows a whistle because he's like the lifeguard of Atlantis.
Stop bombing.
Stop bombing. Stop bombing.
No heavy petting.
No heavy petting in the pool, please. Get out. That's it. In fact, no, you'll spend all your lives in there. And then exactly. And he looks down and he thinks, to punish them, I am going to cast them into the sea so that they have to spend their entire lives in their own piss, watching each other petting heavily.
And running on the side.
And finally, I won't have to put up with them running on the side anymore. Right, well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. That's us done for tonight now. That's us all sorted. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please follow us and all the usual places on social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, with Radioface Comedy on all of those. So Twitter, YouTube and Facebook, Radioface Comedy. YouTube, we put up videos and other bits and pieces, other comedy stuff on there and discussions and stuff. So by all means, follow us on there as well. And that's it. So thanks again for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.